With Russia's intensified attacks on Ukraine and the prospects of a ceasefire still uncertain, efforts to rebuild water in Ukraine have never been more urgent. The fourth edition of the Ukraine Recovery Conference wraps up in Rome on Friday with more than 10 billion euros committed to Ukraine's reconstruction and a renewed promise to keep the spotlight on the country. The cost of rebuilding Ukraine's economy has now reached $524 billion, nearly 3 times its projected economic output for 2024, with housing and transport among the most heavily affected sectors. We spoke with the World Bank about how crucial it is that recovery efforts go hand in hand with reforms.
So we coordinate very closely as the international community to make sure that anything we do on assisting Ukraine or thinking through the reforms is actually aligned with their EU accession agenda. So the types of reforms they're looking at is, of course, creating a much more competitive economy, one where the public and the private sector play a significant role, one where the human capital is lifted up through better education standards, access to health care, social safety nets that are targeted but also funded, and very importantly, reducing the footprint of the state.
Today, Ukraine faces the unprecedented challenge of maintaining financial engagement and global mobilization while the fighting continues.
I'm quite upset about the situation with the economy. Although it's very resilient and it has been growing since 2022, business is recovering, there are great government programs to do so. However, we are getting to the point where all the expectations about the length of the war are wrong. So it was expected in all the projections on the macro situation that it's going to be ending in the mid-2025. And so it means that for the end of this year and for the next year, there is not enough external financing, not enough commitments on weapon, and there is, according to me, not enough attention to this at the URC.
The level of participation at this edition of the URC that has taken place in Rome has been significant. The presence of so many companies and businesses has been one of the main highlights, showing the importance of fostering engagement between the private and public sectors and of keeping Ukraine's reconstruction high on the global agenda. Giorgio Orlandi for Euronews in Rome.